What if weight loss could be fun? I actually think it is. And I've learned that from my experience. I used to think, and I've seen so many other people often think, that it has to be hard, that it has to be miserable, that you can't have the things that you want, that it must be difficult, or it's not worth it. I don't agree. And although, yes, I do believe that overcoming challenges can be rewarding, feeling accomplished that we're getting things done, that is certainly fun. But we don't have to make it hard to succeed. And I think so many people I come across do. My experience has been that when we make it not much fun, we tend to have not much success. Or if we have success, we tend to have not much sustainability. Yet when we make it fun, when we make it simple, we make it much more likely that we are to succeed. And when we lose weight in a way that we enjoy, we're much more likely to keep doing those things and therefore keep the weight off. At least that's how I've done it. And I want to share a little bit with you today. Hi, if you don't know me, my name's Brian Granger. I'm a life coach and a weight loss coach, and I help frustrated dieters solve the real issues underlying their overeating and unhealthy eating. And I help them create new, healthy habits that they can sustain so they can not only get to goal, so you can actually live your life at goal. If you want to check out more of my work, you can go to livemorelife.com.au. You can download my 10 secrets to long-term weight loss. And you can also check out the worksheet for this video. I'm recommending that everyone uses my My Food Rules worksheet for this week. Now, of course, fun is different for everyone. So I recognize that what might be exactly fun for me might not be the exact things that are fun for you. We're all different. We all have our own perspectives on life. So what I want to try and do today is help you with some ideas, some questions to ask yourself that might help you find the fun for you. I want to share a little bit of my perspective as well. It might be different from how you are thinking. Before I do though, I do want to make sure we touch on the big mistake that most people make. And I made this when I first started too. It's why I'd tried and failed so many times in the past. Because we decide that the fun only comes at the end. You ever done that? When I get to goal, I'll be happy. When I get to goal, I'll be proud of myself. Then I'll love my body. Then I'll be attractive. That was mine. Then I'll be confident. When I'm able to have lost my weight, then I'll be able to resist the food at the party. Then I'll stop overeating. If only I was thin, I could have the life that I want. It doesn't work that way. And although I think it is fun at goal, when we're telling ourselves that it only comes at goal, we're also telling our brain that we aren't happy or that we can't be happy, that we aren't proud of ourselves, we aren't confident now. Instead of recognizing that those beliefs, those thoughts, those feelings are all completely available to you right now. It doesn't come as a magical superpower at the end. You don't get to goal and suddenly get handed like a gift basket of new skills, right? You actually have to develop them along the way. And in fact, developing those skills is how you get there. It is learning by doing. And, we've been taught in our culture that we have to be deprived. We have to go without the things we want. We can't have the carbs or the alcohol or the chocolate, or we can't have the fun until we get there. And I just think it's such a detriment. I've seen people try and hate themselves healthy and try and loathe themselves thin and try and do so many things. And I tried the diets so many times in my life, as well, where it was almost like I was punishing myself to get healthy. Like I was punishing myself for where I had been. I used to think, how could I let myself get to here? For me, I was 50 kilos overweight. How did I let myself get to that? And we feel like dieting or exercise has to then come as some kind of punishment, right? To make us better. I don't think that helps. I don't think it's motivating, right? It can get you started, but it can't keep you going. No one wants to live their life in punishment. At least I hope not. And so that even if you get to goal, you don't keep it because it's such an uncomfortable, horrible place to be. Gotta find the fun along the way. Now, of course, as I was going through my journey, one of my friends said to me, you're no fun anymore. You don't drink with us the way we used to. And I was initially really taken aback by that. I really had to ask myself, I had to challenge myself to think, well, is that true? Should I just, I was tempted there. I'm like, oh, wow, maybe I should just drink some more, or eat some more. Maybe I should just do some of the behaviors I used to do. Some of those behaviors that I'd purposefully chosen to cut back on, to pull back, to minimize. It was really very tempting with that statement. I started to think, oh, have I done something wrong? Have I damaged this relationship in some way? And then, of course, I realized, as soon as I allowed myself to think about it, that it's not drinking or overeating that made me fun. It was getting together with everyone and connecting, creating our shared stories and our shared experiences, laughing together. Yes, maybe alcohol lowers inhibitions, but its presence doesn't create the fun, despite all of the advertising that alcohol manufacturers like to do it. The fun is in our shared experience. And of course, same deal with the food, right? The overeating doesn't make it more fun. And its absence, right? Cutting out the overeating or unhealthy eating, cutting out the alcohol, doesn't prevent the fun. There's been plenty of times in my life when me and my friends, we've been having fun that didn't involve drinking. So it's not a requirement for the fun. And so I decided, after that, comment from my friend, I decided that I didn't need the alcohol to have fun. That I could still have fun and drink less or not drink at all. And good news is, turns out I was right. That, 13 years later, we're still very good friends. We still have lots of fun. I just don't overeat and overdrink the way I used to. I'll say that again, there's a bit of noise. I just don't overeat or overdrink the way I used to. So, before we get into actually finding the fun, I think it is worth spending, just a moment questioning your beliefs about what brings the fun. Is having that piece of cake fun? There's pleasure in it, but is it actually fun? So many times I used to go out for coffee or for a meal with people, and the first thing I would do is look at the dessert menu or the the sweets cabinet where they've got all the cakes and pastries and things, all those yummy things. And I'd feel that excitement, that anticipation of having that, yummy piece of cake. I used to, mud cake used to be one of my favorite things. So I'd always look out for it. Oh, there it is. Yes, oh, that's what I really want to have. And so the anticipation was fun. I was anticipating that first bite, that first mouthful of pleasure. And I don't know how many times I did that, and then I got the piece of cake, and then it was dry, or it was plain, or boring, or even sometimes it was just too rich. It wasn't actually an enjoyable experience eating that piece of cake. So in the moment, it wasn't actually fun. Now, back in the day when I had my extra 50 kilos, or one of the ways I got my extra 50 kilos was just having it anyway. Oh well, paid for it. If you got it the value, might as well eat it, even if I wasn't enjoying it. One of the things I've changed is I no longer do that. If it's not fun, I don't have it. I also want you to think about portion size, right? We've been taught that if something is fun, then more of it is more fun. But this is also not true. Maybe the first bite or two of cake is fun. I think about that a lot. I no longer drink coffee or tea. I haven't done so for many years now, but I used to drink coffee. And I used to relish that, the aroma of coffee. I still enjoy the aroma of coffee. But I used to remember that first sip, that first sip of that first cup of coffee a day, just that real, when it hits you. And that was really fun. But of course, I realized in my journey, particularly since I no longer have it, but even as I was having it, I used to work night shifts and things like that. And, I'd be having lots of coffee to try and get through, to keep myself awake, etc. And so many times I would realize that, after the first few sips, I wasn't really enjoying it. I wasn't having that real hit of pleasure anymore. It was just having it. Same deal. I'd have a mouthful of cake or two, or I'd have a couple of chips out of a bag of chips or something like that. And the first couple are enjoyable and pleasurable. And after that, I'm just eating it. Have you noticed? Particularly if we eat mindlessly, if we eat distracted, if we are just eating it because it's there, right? How many times have you tried something and you've seen something, or it's been in front of you, or it's been available, and you thought, ooh, that'll be really great. And you have it, and you're just like, okay, it's not really that great. What if you didn't continue then, right? More does not equal more fun, Even if the first piece of cake is fun, what about the third piece of cake? Going from one biscuit to a packet. Going from a bite of chocolate to a block of chocolate. Is overeating actually fun? Is overdrinking actually fun? I don't think any of us enjoy the anticipation of overeating and overdrinking. And I'm pretty sure most of us don't like it in retrospect. We don't like it afterwards. But I've also found it's not actually fun in the moment. I personally don't find it fun, right? It's not fun. Later in the day, I feel bloated, or I feel sick because I've eaten so much. It's not fun later that day or the next day when I feel sluggish or tired or kind of even kind of sick, right? Not to mention the feeling of regret or disappointment or guilt about choices that are keeping me stuck, or they're keeping me from my goals. Right? Can you relate? What I found was that over time of noticing that it wasn't actually an enjoyable experience, certainly in retrospect, and then coming to realize when I paid attention that it wasn't actually enjoyable in the moment, I then also got to the point where it wasn't even fun in anticipation anymore. I started to dread going to social occasions or to parties or gatherings, back when we could do those things, because of my thoughts about myself and my expected behavior then, I used to define my identity. I'm just the person who if I see food, I eat it. If it's there, I eat it all. I'm the person who finishes it off. Right? I'm the one who has that last piece of everything, right? And what I realized is that, I was living in this world where I was expecting that I would overeat or overdrink because those were my habits. And then I realized that if I did that, I would feel miserable after. I'd feel bad about myself after. Or the only other choice that I'd ever been told with dieting, for instance, was to go without and feel miserable during. Like those are the only two options. I can have more than I want, I can overeat or overdrink and then feel miserable about that, or I can not have it and feel miserable about not having it. Like those are the only options. But they aren't. You know why? Because you bring the fun. When you go looking for and discover the fun, the joy, the pleasure in looking after yourself, in making the healthy choice, in living in alignment with the goals that you want, you realize you can actually make fun, you can actually make choices that are fun in the anticipation ahead of time, right? You can look forward to making healthy choices, to looking after yourself, and in retrospect, looking back. And there's actually lots of fun that you can find in the moment, much more so than any fleeting pleasure of the food or the drink. So let's look at these three occasions, right? The fun of anticipation. The fun of anticipation is about thinking about like going on a holiday, or like, you remember when we could go on holidays, we could get on a plane or a bus, or we could be driving or whatever. And, you know, that experience is usually actually pretty miserable. But we're enjoying the anticipation of getting to our destination, being at the beach or climbing that mountain or staying in that luxurious hotel, whatever it is. We're in that. Or, you know, it's like the anticipation of opening a Christmas present. You know, think about, what am I going to get? It's a surprise. What will I have? The anticipation is so much in the moment. Right? Have you ever noticed with kids, they're so excited for weeks and weeks ahead of time. And then when they open it, it's just like, okay, play with it for 5 minutes, done. Right? The joy is in the anticipation. And how do we find the fun in weight loss with that? Well, we look forward to the future that you want. What does it look like? Trying on that outfit that you wanted to get back into, or buying a new one off the rack, or doing that activity, walking that 5K, climbing that mountain, just getting down and playing with the kids and being able to get back up again. Right? What does it feel like to feel energized in your body? Can you get in touch with the future that you want and start to bring it into the now? Can you bring a piece of it into the now? Right? Can you imagine yourself in that outfit doing that activity? Can you feel the joy and the pleasure of it now? Can you live from that place in the moment, right? Sometimes this is, I call it connecting with your why, but this is why we want you to keep your why close by, because the better you can envision that, the more you can bring the pieces of that life, the kinds of choices you'll be making, the kind of habits you'll be doing, the emotions you want to be feeling, you can start to bring them into your experience now. So you still get to enjoy the anticipation of waking up tomorrow feeling energized, right? Instead of feeling groggy or hungover, right? We can experience the joy of stopping when we're satisfied. So can you stay in touch with the anticipation of why you're making the choice that you are making? Can you also find the fun in the moment? You know, when we say yes to one thing, we are saying no to another thing. We're saying no to something, we are saying yes to something. So it turns out, I've discovered, that being able to say no to unhealthy eating and drinking is actually pretty fun. I like being the person who can choose not to have. Right? And do that with no guilt, no present, no remorse. I can actually just choose. Now, the reason, notice I said choose not to have. I didn't say resist. Most people think you have to resist something. But resistance doesn't feel good. It feels terrible. It's telling yourself I can't have, or I shouldn't, or I mustn't, it's bad, it's naughty, I'm bad, I'm naughty. Those are terrible things. So instead, I embrace the pride and the pleasure of actually looking after myself, of acting in alignment with my goals, right? How many of you noticed when you achieve your goals, it's actually fun? So that pride you want at the end of your journey, when you've achieved your weight loss, or you've got that shape and that figure, when you can do those goals, can you bring it now into this moment? Turns out it's actually pretty fun. You can feel it now, you know, and you don't have to make it about having or not having. Instead, could you make it about having this choice or this choice? You know, I could have this extra serving and the bloat and the guilt and the remorse and everything that goes along with it. Or I could have the satisfaction of stopping when I'm satisfied. That's peak pleasure. I've enjoyed the experience of eating it up to the point where I'm no longer hungry. I'm not yet full, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just satisfied. That is the maximum pleasure you're going to get out of that food or drink. So why not just have that? Why not have maximum pleasure? Right? In addition, of course, there's lots of healthy foods and drinks that you can also consume. So I like to have some. If I'm attending a party or I'm going to a gathering, or if I'm having people over, I make sure there's healthy options on choice that are fun, that are enjoyable to eat, that are pleasurable. So it's not like pleasure or not, like it's health or pleasure. It's health and pleasure. I always have what I need on hand, or if I'm out somewhere, I'm at a restaurant or something, I know to ask for what I want. I also like to gamify it in the moment. I love playing little games like trying to finish last, trying to eat 5 different vegetables, or having 2 serves as a snack. Ooh, I got an extra serve of vegetables today in a snack. So I didn't have to make it up in my meal, right? Finding out what is the minimum amount of a food that satisfies me? What is the minimum amount of ice cream? What is the minimum amount of um, chocolate, let's say? What can I have and still have the maximum pleasure and enjoyment, right? What is the portion that works for me that I can also lose weight on and have and feel good about? So I try and gamify it. And this is why I like recording everything, because then I get to see, have I met my good health guidelines? Am I making healthy choices? Are they changing over time? Right? I love seeing the game of that. I call it playing the game. But I love making little games out of it, because then you get that sense of accomplishment, that achievement. And finally, remember, if it is a social occasion, the fun is not in the food and the booze. The fun is in the connection with people, in the relationships. We bring the fun. It's in your thoughts, so it's your job to bring the fun. And of course, if we do that, we also get the fun in retrospect. As I said, waking up with energy the next day, feeling strong, feeling fit. I get to enjoy having abs. Now, during COVID, I've been working on my body weight exercises, doing my core strength. And, there are lumps here I never thought that I would have. I just didn't think I had those, but I do. So I get to enjoy this experience of my life now. I get to have the fun of knowing that I can keep it off together forever because I've found my fun in the process. In my day-to-day habits. I've made making healthy choices and taking healthy activity and thinking healthy thoughts about myself fun. My confidence came not from achieving my goals, but from learning that I am the one in charge, not the food, not my friends, not my peers, not the social customs. It's kind of fun to realize, I can make new customs, right? We always used to have to be able to overeat and overdrink like at Christmas. Like, nope, don't have to. Used to always have to have cake at birthday. Nope, don't have to. My last 2 birthdays haven't had cake. It's not a big deal. No one cared. I didn't care. I didn't miss out. I had other things that I enjoyed. I had everything I wanted in a healthy balance. That is much more fun to me than having a piece of cake I just have to have because I am in charge. So I get to choose whether to have fun or not. My life doesn't happen to me, I choose it. And I can do anything that I direct my brain to do. This is super fun. So this week, I encourage you to take notice of what your thoughts about food and drink and exercise are. I call these your food rules in the worksheet. Right? What do you currently think is fun? And then go and check. Is it actually fun? Is it fun in anticipation? Is it fun in the moment? Is it fun in retrospect? And when you take notice of your experience, you then get to decide, well, do I want to keep it? Do I want to keep all of it exactly the way it is? Would I like to change a small part of it or a large part of it? What can I do to make it fun for me? It's got to be fun for you. I can't tell you what that is. You have to find it. But you've got to go looking. So, what can I do to make this healthy choice, this behavior, this part of my weight loss journey more fun? And then go and test it out and come back and modify if you need. Finding your fun throughout this journey is a way to ensure that you have fun when you reach your goal. When it's fun to do what you're doing while you lose, it's fun to keep doing those things while you maintain. It just becomes a way of life. It's not something I do for a little while, I have to go hard or I have to get through. Why not make it more fun? I really urge you to go and play with that. Go and look at your food rules and actually change them, and let's find some that are fun for you. And of course, if this has been helpful for you, give me a like, give me a reaction. If you're watching on YouTube or on my blog, make sure you subscribe so you get notified of the videos. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, right? They're feeling miserable in their diets, or they're dreading it, or they don't want to, or think it's all too hard, tag them in the video, send them the link so that they can watch this video and go, oh wait, I can actually have fun doing this. How might I go about doing that? And of course, if you need more help finding the fun or changing those thought processes, right? then remember you can request a free coaching session, a free consultation, and get my help to do so. You can book that at livemorelife.com.au. All right, so download the worksheet. Let's find some food rules that actually work for you, that you can live with, you can actually do. And remember, they're not locked in stone. You get to keep changing them as you go along. So make sure you find what is fun for you now. And then little by little, what is fun for you in a week's time, a month's time, a year's time. Little by little, do what's fun for you. All right, well, let me know in the comments what could be fun for you to try and what is both fun and healthy for you. Fun and healthy. I'd love to know. Thanks for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. Have an amazing day. Have some fun. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.